everybody. I am Officer Potak.
Hi, it's Officer Best.
Today we're inside the borough hall here. Very nice, comfy area to sit. A little cold outside for us, so we're hiding inside.
Always good to sit on a comfy couch.
Absolutely. Today's book is called All My Stripes, a story for children with autism. And in the beginning of this book, there's a little bit of facts here we're going to read. 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. This means that just about everyone knows someone who is autistic. Children with autism often feel different from their peers and don't always understand why. All My Stripes is a story of Zane, a young zebra with autism, who fears that his differences make him stand out from other children. With careful guidance from his mother, Zane learns that autism is only one of many qualities that make him special. All My Stripes is an important story because it teaches us that sometimes all it takes is a good look in the mirror to remember that each of us has important and unique gifts to offer the world. All My Stripes is an excellent teaching tool for parents and educators who help children understand that while their peers with autism may act differently, they still have plenty to offer. Children who read All My Stripes will learn to empathize with Zane and take important lessons from this story back to their classrooms, making school a more welcoming place for everyone. Zane ran home as fast as he could. "Nobody gets me, Mama." Mama hugged Zane. He began to tell her about his bad day. This morning in our class, the teacher started a hoof painting project. I didn't want to get paint on my hooves, so the teacher gave me a paintbrush. All the other zebras noticed and were making fun of me because they didn't understand why I wouldn't use my hooves. Mama said, "I bet that made you feel different from the rest of the group." Zane replied, "It did, but paint is just too weird to touch." During math class, the fire alarm blared loudly. While the children in my class were getting in line quietly, I hid under my desk, screaming and covering my ears. The class left without me, and I was scared until the firefighters found me. When the class came back from lunch, everyone was putting their lunch boxes in their cubbies. Some classmates were talking about a video game I play all the time, but I didn't know how to start talking to them. I started talking about all the things I knew about the game, but since I was staring at the floor, nobody knew I was talking to them. When the other kids walked away, I started talking louder. I really wanted them to hear me, but everyone was getting ready for science class. We sat down for science and were learning about the planets. Our teacher gave each of us a planet to draw, but I wanted to create my own. When it came time to present, I felt different from the rest of the class again. My teacher loved my planet and said, "Whatever floats your boat." I spent the rest of the afternoon looking for a boat in the classroom. Zane was crying. "How come all anyone sees is my autism stripe?" Mama carried Zane over to the mirror. "When I look at you, I see many different stripes. If one of them were missing, you wouldn't be the same." "I see your pilot stripe. When we get lost in the city, you always remember the way home." "Your caring stripe makes you act kindly towards others. When your classmates think it's funny to bully other kids, you come to the rescue." "Your honesty stripe lets me always trust your word. When other parents have to worry that their kids aren't telling the truth, I know you always are." My favorite stripe is your curiosity stripe. When all the other kids are falling asleep in class, you always want to know more. I love when you come home and tell me about everything you learned. Sometimes you ask me questions and I don't even know the answers. Mama pointed out the rest of Zane's amazing stripes. The more stripes she explained, the better Zane began to feel about himself. By the time she was finished, Zane loved himself again. Zane ran outside, feeling the warmth of the sun. Finally, he felt proud of all of his stripes. He said, "There's more to me than just my autism stripe. It's just part of me. The other parts make me whole. I love each stripe because without them, I wouldn't be me." And that is the book, All My Stripes, A Story for Children with Autism.
That's a really good book. I'm very close to somebody in my family who's on the autism spectrum, and a lot of the things that this book brought out reminded me of when he was young. Tactile issues. He didn't want to paint with his hooves. He wanted to use a paintbrush because a lot of times people that are on the autism spectrum, they don't like to touch things. It doesn't feel right. This one young man, he didn't like to wear blue jeans for the longest time because he didn't like the way they felt. Family had to find specific kind of pants. He found cargo pants that were camouflage, and he took to those, and that's all he would wear. People on the autism spectrum are very ritualistic. Things have to be a certain way. Things have to be on a time schedule. A lot of times they don't adapt well to change, and they can sense when there's change coming. It's very interesting, but they're very, very, very special because they're very honest, they're very truthful, and they have a huge heart because they have no guile. People that are on the autism spectrum, they don't play games. They don't know how. Their world is very black and white. They either like something, they don't like something. They're either able to communicate in a way that they're very honest. If I don't like this, it doesn't taste right, or I don't like the flavor, or whatever the case may be. But if you know somebody who's autistic, then you can kind of relate to what I'm saying. But they're very special people. They have a lot to offer in this world, and they're not somebody to be bullied. They're not somebody to be made fun of, like Zane wasn't. His friends had made fun of him. They have unique gifts that if you just give them a second and befriend them, your whole world will change because these are some very special people that you should let into your life.
Right. And autism comes in all shapes and sizes. I mean, just because you're autistic doesn't mean you're going to have the same things that other autistic children might have. So everybody has their own way. If someone's different, give them a chance. Let them be themselves to you, and you might just find out that they're one of your best friends. So give somebody a chance. Don't judge them by how they act and what you see on the outside.
Look at Officer Potak. She gave me a chance. Not to say that I'm on the autism spectrum, but she was the first school resource officer that the borough had. And when I had the opportunity to come work with Officer Potak, she accepted me because there are some things that are kind of quirky about me. And if you work with me or you know me and I'm in your school, you know what that may be. But she accepts me for who I am.
Right.
I accept her for who she is. And together we make a really, really good team.
And you'll see, if you've been watching our stories, as I read, sometimes I stutter on words. Sometimes I don't know the words. I'm not always the best reader. I'm not afraid to show you that because I'm different than other people. So sometimes I'll look at Officer Best and be like, what's this word? And he'll tell me. And I'm not embarrassed to do that because I want you to see that, we all have our faults. So I'm okay with that.
I can't do math. I cannot do math. I have a wonderful wife who can do math. I have Officer Potak who can do math. I can do history, I can do English and language arts, and I can do some science, but I cannot do math. So
So-
thank you, Officer Potak.
And thank you for all you do for me. See, we make a good team here. So if anybody wants more information, there's lots of information out there about autism. And if you have a friend with autism, I encourage you to learn some more about it, and that way you can help them out, and you guys can have a better bond together.
Right, so having said that, go make some friends, but before you do,
Wash your hands. Bye.